Florida, known for its beautiful white sandy beaches, palm trees, and sunsets. People come from all over to visit Florida. It's a major vacation hub for many, and a nice, quiet place to retire. But that's just on the surface of Florida. Lurking deep in the underbelly is a much different kind of person. Perhaps even a new breed of man altogether, known as Florida Man.
We all know that Florida is in the news for crazy stories, but people doing crazy things.
Florida's known for it.
It's called the Florida Man Challenge. What started on one social media platform has now turned into a viral sensation.
Have you found your Florida Man story yet? The Florida Man Challenge has been making the rounds on social media.
A new viral sensation is taking over social media. It's called the Florida Man Challenge, and it's making its rounds on Twitter.
The #1 trending topic on Twitter overnight. Which Florida man are you?
It's the challenge taking social media by storm. All you do is search Florida Man
If you haven't done it yet, we want you to put in Florida
So
Man
people are
and then your
actually
birthday.
searching the words Florida Man followed by their birthday.
It's taking
to
the
see
internet
what
by
crazy
storm
headline
because
comes up.
we want to know what Florida man or woman you are.
I knew before I could ever understand the Florida Man, I would first need to know a little bit more about Florida. Florida ranks number 5 worst crime rate recorded in the U.S. There's 1 murder every 8 hours and 17 minutes, 1 robbery every 28 minutes, 1 aggravated assault every 9 minutes, 1 burglary every 6 minutes, 1 motor vehicle theft every 12 minutes, and 1 violent crime every 6 minutes and 9 seconds. Knowing this information, my journey feels a bit more chaotic than a nice, quiet view at the beach. I'm not really sure what I'll find or what's going to happen, but I know I need to find out more.
Florida Man stories usually involve something outlandish, unbelievable, or just bizarre.
Do you think Florida is the craziest state in the country? 72% of you said duh, only in Florida.
I think this is the craziest state.
Yeah, this by far is the craziest state.
Some of the strangest stories come out of the state of Florida.
The legend seems to have deep roots in Florida, and I needed to know more. There seems to be one place Florida Man often pops up in the headlines, and that place is Tampa Bay. I traveled all around the Tampa Bay area, and I was soon interviewing some of the most notorious Florida men of all time.
Where are you from?
Tampa, Florida.
How old are you?
12 years old. I don't know much about the Florida Man at all, but I've seen him on YouTube a few times. Pretty crazy dude. I heard that he attacked a shark. I heard that he threw a watermelon at a dog, and I heard that he attacked an elderly lady. He's not a good person at all. I don't know much more to say about him.
Hey, listen, so I'm making a documentary about the Florida Man, right? And I'm just kind of running around and I'm asking people if they have ever heard of the Florida Man.
Well, you'd have to live under a rock to never heard of the Florida Man.
So you've heard of the Florida Man before?
Yes, I've heard of the Florida Man.
How long have you lived in Florida?
All my life.
Okay, do you know what the Florida Man did on your birthday?
I do, actually. I'm pretty sure he just tried to run out the Walmart with steaks and lobsters in his pants.
So you've already Googled it.
I did. Doesn't everybody?
I'm making a documentary about the Florida Man. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah, of course.
Have you Googled your birthday and the Florida Man yet?
No, I can't say I've had a chance to do that.
Okay, what's your birthday?
April 21st.
Florida man arrested for grand theft after trying to walk out of the store with AK-47 stuffed down his pants.
And how about you? Have you ever heard about the Florida Man?
Yes.
Can you tell me a story you've heard about the Florida Man?
Yep.
What's the story?
He threw a chicken at his mom.
He threw a chicken at his mom?
Yep.
Okay. Appreciate it, guys. Have a good day. Hey, man. I'm making a documentary about the Florida Man. Can I talk to you real quick?
Sure, go for it.
Have you ever heard about the Florida Man?
Yeah, I heard about him. Crazy ass motherfucker.
Can you tell me the craziest story you've ever heard about the Florida Man?
The craziest story? Let me see. It's a good question. Oh, I heard he assaulted his woman, his girlfriend, with a banana.
Assaulted his girlfriend with a banana.
Assaulted his girlfriend with a banana.
Now, how does that even happen?
Oh no, shit. He the Florida man, shit. I mean, how else you gonna explain it? As far as I heard,
anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Anything is possible with the Florida man. So hey, it is what it is. Crazy if you want to call it. I don't know if she enjoyed it or not, but he did it.
Hey, little man, how you doing?
Good.
Have you ever heard about the Florida man?
Yes.
Can you tell me a story you heard about the Florida man?
He pooped in a grocery store.
He pooped in a grocery store. Okay. Hey, man, I'm making a documentary about the Florida man. Have you ever heard of him?
Oh, yeah, I've heard of Florida man.
Can you tell me the craziest story you've ever heard about Florida man?
Florida man gets arrested for snorting cottage cheese in a nightclub bathroom.
Nice. All right, bro. Thank you, man.
Yeah, you got
a
it.
good one.
Florida man attacks gas station clerk with hot dogs, corn dog stick over beer.
Thrown pancake batter leads to battery charges for Florida man.
KFC employee hits Florida man in the face with a box of chicken.
Florida man is more than a legend. He's more than a myth. He's more than any one man or any men. He's more than that. It's been here forever. It'll be here forever. There's no telling who it'll be or when he'll show up. He lurks in the shadows. He hides in plain sight. At any given moment, the Florida man could appear. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. It doesn't matter where you are. The Florida man is always there. So if you ever come to Florida, you make sure you look out for Florida man, because behind these palm trees, there's a whole nother world out here. It's a world where Florida man don't give a fuck. He'll chew your face off. He'll punch you in your face over a bowl of mac and cheese. He'll set your dog on fire. He'll knock on your door and hit you in your mouth and run down the street screaming about aliens. You just never know. But he'll show up. You best believe he's there. He's always there, watching you, behind you, beside you. You just never know. Watch your ass for Florida man. Florida man can get you.
Florida man on bicycle arrested after tussling with police at Taco Bell.
Florida man wakeboards through flooded ditch while being pulled by horse.
The first Florida man I met was Daryl Hickson. He was arrested for practicing Taekwondo on ducks in a public place.
Hi, my name is Daryl Hickson. I've lived here 31 years.
And when did you first become Florida man?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I guess I've always been one. I was born here. That kind of makes me one, right? I think it's just a gift from God. Like, you either are or you aren't. Like, some people are Republicans, some people Democrats. I'm a Florida man. The Florida man is man. It is what everyone truly wants to be. Like, it is the embodiment of awesome. I don't know. Why do people skydive? Oh gosh, I'd never live anywhere but here. Man, there's snow. No, I'm staying here. But I guess if I had to, well then yeah. But they wouldn't be ready for this shit. No, I'm gonna stay here.
And what do you think it takes to be Florida man?
Well, I don't know. Again, it's just something you're born with. But I don't know, not taking people's bullshit.
Well, do you think that just anybody can be Florida man?
No, not everyone can do this. You gotta be in the moment. People live in the past too much. You know, when people are living their true life and other people can't handle it, they just are haters.
How many Florida men do you think there are?
Oh, well, gosh. I don't know, probably got to be at least 365 since everyone's birthday has one.
Do you like being Florida man?
Oh, hell yeah. I told you, I wouldn't want to be nothing else. This is awesome. I got my own headline.
Do you think Florida men live in other places other than Florida?
No. You got to live here to be a Florida man. I mean, shit. I don't think all Florida men are crazy. Well, you gotta be a little crazy to do all this shit that we're doing. I mean, some of us are a little control. I mean, I only went after a duck. I didn't stab nobody.
What is it about Florida that makes the Florida man?
Well, I don't honestly know. I'm not a scientist, but I have my suspicions. It's always hot here, and then we're on the water and all that salt, and then there's the oil drilling out there. But mostly we got that red tide that comes through. Man, all them fish dead. I don't know, maybe that.
It says that you were accused and arrested for practicing Taekwondo on ducks.
Man, first off, some of that shouldn't be on my record. That was supposed to be expunged. I'm gonna have to talk to them about that. But look, man, these ducks, they are crazy, okay? They're everywhere. Like, I'm pumping gas at the gas station after just leaving the dojo where my sensei was an asshole. And this duck is literally trying to get into my car because I had a loaf of bread for the grocery store. Man, I hit that duck, I almost hit that duck so hard with them damn nunchucks.
So you didn't actually hit the duck?
No, almost, kinda.
In the report, the lady says she saw you hit the duck with nunchucks. Are those the nunchucks right there?
Yeah, man, these my nunchucks. Damn duck got in the car. They were in the passenger seat. I just reached over, just hit the damn duck. Well, almost hit the duck.
Almost hit the duck.
Almost hit the duck. I hit the car.
So you never actually hit the duck?
Well, I mean, I kind of clipped its wing when it came down. Damn ducks, man. I don't care. You're trying to get in my car and steal my food. It doesn't matter if it was a duck or a squirrel, raccoon. I hit the damn thing.
Are you sorry that you did it?
Hell no. Get the hell out of my car. Damn ducks. I got constitutional rights to stay out of my property.
So would you do it again if you were faced with the same situation?
Hell yeah, I hit that duck even harder.
Being that you were arrested, do you think it was worth it?
Well, I mean, a little bit much to arrest me. It's a duck, not a person. I mean, all these animal activists around here and stuff, I guess, but I mean, I learned my lesson. I'll yell at the duck maybe first, but if it stays in my way, I'll stand my ground.
So you would hit the duck again?
Absolutely. But I didn't really hit him the first time.
Let me ask you this. Do you think you'll ever change your ways, or do you think you'll always be the Florida man?
There ain't nothing wrong with me. Why would I change? I just living my life.
Living your life as a Florida man?
Living my life as a Florida man. I ain't ever gonna change.
After the interview, I took a moment to go see the ducks for myself. I think I'm one step closer to actually understanding the Florida man. Maybe he's just misunderstood, and maybe he just gets a bad rap. But I wasn't going to end my search there. Later that day, I met with another Florida man from the Tampa Bay area, Florida man James Kirk. James was arrested for masturbating in public and yelling he was Captain Kirk to the police.
Did you start calling yourself the Florida man, or did somebody else start calling you the Florida man?
Somebody else did.
So what does the Florida man mean to you?
Guess that means I'm recognized for being me. Worldwide.
What is it about Florida man that makes the Florida man?
If you don't understand Florida, you won't understand the Florida men. Florida is the only place that you can go break into a Walmart and make meth in the ceiling. It's the only place you can go over and grab an alligator by its tail and look like a superhero. Hell, it's the only place you can get caught masturbating on the top of a hotel twice in one day.
You were caught masturbating on top of a hotel twice in one day?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Were you arrested for it?
Some say that I was. Alleged, not proved.
Only accused. It was
only accused.
An accusation only. Let me ask you this. Why do you think all Florida men are so crazy?
I don't know. What's crazy mean?
I don't know. I guess in your own terms.
I don't think we're crazy. I just think we're from Florida.
Okay. Hey, man, can you stop doing that?
Stop what?
Masturbating. Just like during the interview.
You happy?
I mean, it's kind of weird, man. So, when did you first become Florida man?
I've always been Florida man. James T. Kirk is the Florida man.
How does one become Florida man?
I just do what I do. I go outside, I play, I come back in. People call me the Florida man. I don't know what that means. I'm James T. Kirk.
Where exactly are you from, and how long have you lived here?
I'm from Florida. Lived here all my life. Clearwater, Florida. Represent.
Let me ask you a few more questions before I let you go. How many Florida men do you think there are?
Real or fake?
In your terms, how many Florida men do you think there are?
There's only one Florida man. It's James T. Kirk.
So you're saying those aren't real Florida men?
I didn't see a badge. I didn't see a diploma. I don't know how that works.
Are you sorry that you did what you did?
Sorry for what?
Well, for masturbating in public.
No, I enjoyed it.
So would you do it again?
Why all these negativity?
So you do it again?
I would do it again.
All right, look, I'm gonna try to get done as quickly as possible. The biggest question of all, and what everybody really wants to know, you were caught masturbating in public. Is that right?
Define caught. Did somebody walk in on me? Yes.
Yes, it says in the article that you were caught masturbating in a public place. How did you get caught?
I guess I didn't get done quick enough before people walked up on me.
So what makes you do this? Like, why do you have to, what made you masturbate in public to begin with?
You see how happy I am? It's 3 times a day.
You masturbate 3 times a day?
On a good day.
And it doesn't matter if you're in public?
Whenever you get that urge.
So, no matter where you're at, it doesn't matter where you're at, you will masturbate.
We all do it. You do it too, Mr. Interviewer, don't lie.
Well,
we all do it.
I've done it in private, but
it's a shame.
I don't think I could do it in public.
It's a shame.
So let me ask you,
masturbating is like being a Trump supporter. Everybody does it. Nobody wants to admit it. I don't think I'll change my ways. It keeps me happy.
Masturbating keeps you happy?
It does. It does.
Man, why do you keep masturbating like throughout the whole interview?
Are we done?
Yeah.
After my interview with James, I felt more lost than ever. Any answers I thought I had or thought I found about the Florida man, it completely went out the window. Maybe I don't understand the Florida man at all. Maybe they're just crazy. But maybe I'm still missing something.
Florida man suspected of smelling woman's feet leads police on scooter chase.
Florida man jumps into crocodile pit, gets bit, and claims he was held captive.
Florida man carries alligator into convenience store.
There's one thing I quickly learned about this place. It's either hot as hell or it's raining. It's the only place in the world where it can rain on one side of the street and be sunny on the other. Later that day, I met with another Florida man by the name of Skeeter Brown. Florida native Skeeter Brown was arrested at his Florida home on the account of animal abuse. He claims it was never once abuse and he pled not guilty. However, he did admit to police that he had sexual relations with more than one of his animals.
Skeeter, when did you realize you had first become Florida man?
Shoot. Boy, I've always been Florida man. My grandpappy Florida man, my pappy Florida man. I'm Florida man. I'm just holding up the tradition, carrying it on, son.
So how does one become Florida man?
How does one become anything, son? I mean, well, what kind of question is that, boy? how does one become Florida man? Well, you got to do the Florida things, you know what I'm saying? Backwoods Florida, you know? Look at this. It's beautiful. You know, I was just lucky enough to be born in it. I've been born and raised right here. Right here. Shoot, I think my pappy, they might have, you know, just did it right out here to conceive me in the woods. I mean, look how beautiful it is out here. You got the wind blowing on your face. You hear the trees rustling. It's just beautiful. It's romantic. It's like just amazing. Oh, there's that gator again. Hot dog, man. He is looking for some gator tail.
You got gators out here?
Oh, hell yeah, boy, do we got gators out here. Yeah, all sorts of shit out here.
What's that noise?
Oh, I'd be one of those little water hens.
Water hen.
Yeah, they're pretty. Shoot, I made this bench. Nice solid piece of wood right here. It's a good looking bench. Yeah, I do a lot of woodworking. Not a lot to do out here on the farm. There be another gator. Hey, that's a pretty one too. Look at that. Woo-hoo! That is one good looking gator. You hear that grunting, and that grunting, that's mating calls. They get so messed up in the head when they're horny and they want to mate, they'll just come right up here on shore. They don't care. They're not afraid of anything. You gotta be careful of those gators though. Yeah.
Do you ever worry about the gator like coming up here on your property, or do you have any problems with that?
Well, you know, myself, no, I'm not worried about the gator. You know, shoot, I've been born with these gators in. You know, they'll come up. The only thing that should be worried is the squirrels or the other animals. Shoot, they'll eat just about anything. But am I worried? Nah, I'm not worried about it.
Have you ever seen one of these gators eat, you know, one of these birds or anything?
Man, have I ever seen, yeah. Every day I see a gator eating something. You know, just the other day I saw him eating a big old fish. He came up on the shoreline right next to me. While I was sitting out here smoking and drinking a beer, he was just crunching on a big old fish. Man, that fish has got to be like this big. He had it right in the center, and then he just lifted up his mouth, and then you see the tail just wiggle on down there. Crunchy crunch. That gator eats better than me, I'll tell you that. What? Right there, boy. He eats way better than me.
Let me ask you this, Skeeter. If you didn't live in Florida, do you still think you'd be Florida man?
Boy, I mean, you got to be in Florida to be the Florida man.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You got to do the Florida things. Maybe up in Arkansas, then you wouldn't be a Florida man, would you?
Be an Arkansas man.
You'd be an Arkansas man, probably a hillbilly.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with no hillbilly either. Shoot, I'm related to some good old hillbillies.
Let me ask you, what do you think it takes to be Florida man?
Got to be a manly man, you know, not afraid to get your hands dirty, you know, hunt, drink, do some mudding, you know, come out here at night and shoot, maybe even just wrestle a gator, you know. That's what you want to do, if that's your thing. But yeah, Florida man, true Florida man, just crazy, crazy, crazy people, man.
Do you like being Florida man?
Shoot, I don't know anything different than Florida man. I mean, what kind of question is that? It'd be like asking, do you know, a Martian, do you like coming from outer space? You know? I mean, I just don't understand that question. Like, of course you know? I am what I am. You know what I'm saying?
Why do you think some people love Florida man, but then there's others that hate the Florida man?
So who hates the Florida man? I mean, I hear stories, backwoods, you know, messing around with our cousins and such. That stuff's not true. I never touched any of my cousins.
Never?
Nah, I never touched any of my cousins. But you know, we get some bad hype.
That's true. There's definitely the misconception that the backwoods Florida man, for lack of a better term, is he dabbles in incest and inbreeding and things like that. That's just hearsay. None of that's true.
Well, yeah, you hear some stories, you know, someone's cousin, you know, she looked good, purty mouth and all that stuff. But
Why do you think Florida Man gets such a bad rap?
well, I guess it's that gossip, right? I mean, people just like to talk and spread rumors because, maybe they're just not happy with their own life, so they gotta make up stories about someone that's actually enjoying their life, just enjoying nature and just being one with themselves and just doing what they gotta do, and they gotta bring you down with this gossip. I guess they don't have nothing better to do with their lives. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think just anybody can be Florida Man?
Hell no, boy. You don't. Oh, you think some city slicker from New York is gonna come down here to Florida and the South and say, "Oh, hot dog, hey, how you doing? I'm a Florida man." No, son. You gotta be born and raised a Florida man. Like I said, my grandpappy and my pappy were born here. It's a generation. You know what I'm saying?
How many Florida men do you think there are?
Well, that I couldn't tell you, but I'm sure there's a lot. I live out here in this farm in the woods, so I don't really get out there and mix it up. So I couldn't tell you.
Well, what is it about Florida that makes the Florida Man?
What is it about Florida that makes the Florida man? It just is. You're just Florida man, true and true. Yeah, what makes me? I am what I am. I'm a country boy at heart. I like to hunt and fish, be with nature, drink my beer. Everybody's crazy, right, in their own mind? I mean, there's some crazy and there's some not crazy Florida men. Not everybody I know is crazy. Do I think I'm crazy? Hell no, boy, I don't think I'm crazy.
No.
No. So, who am I to judge and say someone else is crazy? You know what I'm saying? I don't think, people just are what they are, and, if that's crazy, then maybe they're the ones that are crazy, huh?
In the headlines, they say that the Florida Man is the worst superhero of all time. Why do you think that is?
Well, I guess Hollywood doesn't want to have a country bumpkin superhero now, do they? They say a statement like that, You don't go to the movie theater and see some hillbilly superhero saving somebody, do you? Why not? That's what I want to know. Yeah, that's just that. Now that's crazy right there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, Skeeter.
Yeah.
The biggest question of all, and the question that is on everybody's mind, and they're just dying to know.
Oh, you hear that gator again? Damn, you want to get some gator tail.
That's the sound of a gator there?
Oh man, that grunt sounds like a pig almost.
Yeah.
Like a wild boar.
It did sound like a pig. That's a gator.
That's a gator. There's more than one gator out there too. It's mating season, like I say. They'll just come up here and shoot. They might come up here right now.
Now,
would you be afraid if a gator came up here right now?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's the difference between a Florida man and a man. You know what I'm saying? If you want to know the difference, I guess that would be the difference.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, the biggest question I've got for you, and the question that is really on everybody's mind, is in regards to your crime.
My crime?
Yeah. Well, the headlines it states that you admitted to having sexual relations with your farm animals. Now, is that true?
Sexual relations.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate more on the sexual relations topic?
Apparently, you have been pleasuring yourself with your farm animals.
Boy, I haven't been pleasuring myself. I've been pleasuring the animals as well. Come on now. That just sounds, selfish, doesn't it?
So when you say you've been pleasuring the animals as well, are you saying you have had relations with your animals?
Well, I'm saying I'm pleasuring the animals. You don't think they don't enjoy it? Yeah, damn right, boy. You know, sometimes, you know, believe it or not, sometimes it does get cold, you know, and then, you know, boy, Betsy, she was a nice little sheep, and she kept me warm in some cold winter nights. She passed away.
And this was your sheep?
Yeah.
And a sheep that you used to have sexual relations with?
You know, you keep saying sexual relationships. You know, you make it sound like it's some kind of sickness, sexual relations. I mean, it was relations, just like you know, you would have a relationship with somebody. You know, why do you have to put the sexual part on it? You know, it's just a relationship between, you know, whatever, you know.
So you're telling me that a relationship, it doesn't matter if it's a person or an animal. You can have the same relations with either a person or an animal, is what you're saying?
That's right. A relationship's a relationship. I mean, do you have a dog?
I do.
Yeah, and you have a relationship with your dog now, don't you?
Well, no.
You love your dog, right?
I love my dog, but I've never had a sexual relationship with my dog.
There you go with that sexual part again, you know. You know, a relationship's a relationship. And see, I tell you one thing, they don't talk back or give you any crap, you know. And people sometimes they just really can suck. You know what I'm saying? You know they're nagging on you. Oh, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. You know what? I do what I want to do when I want to do it. You know what I'm saying, boy? I don't get nagged by anybody. I'm out here by myself. So, you know, I get a little lonely every now and then, but you know, I have what I have. I have my animals. I have nature around me. You know, I'm a free man. I just come and go and do what I want, you know, when I want to do it.
I understand.
Sexual relations. It's just a relationship is what I would say it would be called.
Now, have you had relations with more than one of your animals?
Well, yeah. Of course.
Okay, Skeeter, so bringing this to my next question was, you know, I wanted to ask you if you were, and it seems from your responses that I think I know the answer, but are you sorry for what you did? And would you do it again?
Pertaining to what am I sorry for?
Having, being arrested for having relations with your farm animals. I mean, does a little bit of that feel like, you know, maybe you were wrong, or do you feel like, you know...
Wrong? Is it wrong to have a relationship? Is it wrong for you to love your dog? Is it wrong for you to, you know, have a girlfriend or a wife? You know, I don't think they should have arrested me.
No?
No, man. I think they pay too much attention on the animal thing. You know. Shoot. Boy, if it fits, does it make it wrong? I don't think so. Maybe they're crazy for thinking that. Oh, there's one of those eagles right up there. You hear that? That's pretty.
You ever got a hold of an eagle? Or
no. Well, an eagle almost got me, a hold of me. I'll tell you that right now. I was out there fishing in that pond out there. I was reeling in this fish. As soon as I got it up on the shore, the eagle swooped down and just took it. And the line was going, and I was, boy, this ain't no fishing story either. I was reeling in that fish, and that eagle, man, his wingspan was as wide as my arms, just from one side over here to over here, and he's just flopping in the wind. He just really wanted that fish, and I was trying to get him in, and then, bam, the line snapped, and he took my fish.
have you ever considered having relations with any other animals out here that you have not had relations with?
No, I think I pretty much had, my relations with all my animals. I don't want any particular animal to be upset because I'm neglecting one for another. So, it's just a happy family. You know what I'm saying? I think that maybe my pig wouldn't be so happy if I was, directing all my attention to my sheep. Unfortunately, she's gone, she passed. But yeah, I don't think that the pig would be happy if I was directing all my attention to, Elsie the cow, for example. So everybody gets loving from old Skeeter. Yeah.
Now, how can you tell when one animal is, upset or jealous, maybe?
Cool, I've seen some jealousy now. Those chickens get jealous. It's difficult with the chickens. So, yeah, how I can tell they get upset or jealous. Sometimes they won't eat for days.
Tell me a little bit about Elsie the cow.
Well, Elsie the cow, she's a provider now. In more than just one way, let me just tell you. I mean, I get milk from her. I do like milking her. And I think Elsie enjoys it because you know why? It's not that I'm just pulling on her udders that I think that she likes, because that would be kind of sick, because that would just be all me pulling on her udders for my personal enjoyment, and I see that she cares more for me. In a relationship, it's a give. It's not a take. So if I'm just getting that milk from her, then it's just take on my part, and that wouldn't be right. So I think, what else? She likes to give. She's giving me milk, and I think she has a type of a gratification from that. You know what I'm saying?
No.
You're gonna get tired of a relationship and someone just take, right?
Right.
It has to give a give and take. It has to be like a give and a take in any relationship. So I feel that if she's giving me something, I'm not just taking, but I think it makes her happy to give me something, and I'm more than happy to take. Oh, hold on now. See that little water hen out there? She lost her mate to a gator. That gator just came up one day. I was out here, and it ate that male gator now, or that male gator. It ate that male water hen, and I noticed that there's 2 more water hens over there, and I'm hoping that she finds a mate, because I just can't get my hands on her. She's too quick. So I'm hoping that she finds herself a mate, because I think everybody should be happy. And I think to myself, boy, she must be awful sad losing her male companion, especially by a gator eating it. But that's nature. That's the way it goes.
Skeeter, do you think you'll ever change, or do you think you'll always be Florida Man?
What are you talking about? Will I ever change? I am who I am. I'm the Florida Man. Why should I change? I ain't gonna change for nobody. I don't like people anyway. That's why I live out here. I mean, this is why I live out here. Look at these beautiful cypress trees, blowing in the wind. It's just beautiful,
So you're a Florida Man for life.
Florida Man for life. Born and raised, and I'll die a Florida Man. That's for real right there.
I hate to admit it, but I kind of like Skeeter. He's a nice guy. And maybe just simple. He took me around on his farm, and I got to meet all his animals. I got to meet one of these alligators of his, and I even got to meet his cow, Elsie. Guess what? More rain. Yeah, I don't think I could live here. But I guess it could be a lot worse. Later on that day, we headed over to St. Petersburg. right outside of Tampa Bay, where I met with another Florida man by the name of Randy Richardson. Randy was arrested for robbing a gas station right after putting in his job application.
Randy, when did you first realize you were the Florida man?
Shit, I knew the Florida man since I was born, man. What kind of question is that?
When did you first get labeled Florida man?
Well, they labeled me the Florida man when I robbed a gas station. Turned in my job application, right after I turned in my job application.
Let me ask you something, Randy. How does one become a Florida man?
Yeah, you gotta be crazy as fuck, man. You gotta be crazy as a motherfucker. That's all there is to it. Gotta have some balls. It's just, you don't become the Florida man, man. You just are the Florida man.
And where exactly are you from, and how long have you lived in Florida?
Yeah, I'm from Florida, man. I've been in Florida all my goddamn life.
Do you think just anybody can be a Florida man?
No. Hell no, man. Oh, no. Ain't just anybody gonna be me. I'm the fucking Florida man.
And if you didn't live in Florida, do you think you'd still be Florida man?
You're goddamn right. Because if I didn't live in Florida, I'd move to Florida man and be the Florida man, goddamn it.
What does it take to be Florida man?
Set of these right here. Set of these right here. Yep. Gotta be a bad motherfucker.
So not just anybody can be a Florida man?
Nah, oh no. I'm the Florida man. There ain't no any other Florida man.
Only one?
Only one.
Why do you think Florida man gets such a bad rap?
Yeah. Hey, it's crazy as fuck, man. I just feel that way. I don't got no bad rap.
You don't think being arrested for robbing the convenience store after you left a job application is a bad rap?
Nah, man. Nah, I didn't fucking kill the guy or nothing. I mean, come on.
Do you like being a Florida man?
Oh, I love it. I fucking love it. You don't get no better than this.
Why do you think all Florida men are just so crazy?
I don't know. Maybe it's the air, the heat, something like that, you know? They say blood's thicker than water till you come down here to this hot-ass fucking Florida. Then your blood thins out a little bit, so motherfuckers start acting a little crazy. That's what happens.
Randy, the biggest question everybody has is, you know, obviously you robbed a convenience store right after you left your job application. What made you do that?
Well, I didn't just leave my application and rob them, you know? I turned it in. Fucking guy was giving me looks. All kinds of dumb shit, you know, smirking with his clerk there. That guy thinks he's gonna get a fucking job. Well, you know, had fucking left, went home thinking about it. Shit really got to me, so, hey. Decided if I ain't gonna get a fucking job there, I might as well go take my paycheck, you know? Something like that. Wound up just happening.
Were you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs during your altercation?
Well, nah, not really. A little bit of a bottle, some Jack Daniels maybe, you know, a little bit of weed, meth, coke. Ain't nothing serious. I mean, shit.
Is that stuff that every Florida man does?
Oh, of course. Of course.
That's just the norm in Florida.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Let me ask you this. Would you do it again?
Oh, hell yeah. I've done it again. Ooh, I mean, you know, yeah.
So at the end of the day, was it all worth it?
Yeah, got $20, a couple of fake rings, fake watch, you know. Do my thing down here in Florida, man.
Randy, do you think you'll ever change, or do you think you'll always be Florida man?
Nah, man, I'll never change. Ain't nothing changing me.
After meeting with Randy, it was a pretty quick ride through St. Petersburg over to Pinellas County. This is where I met up with my final Florida man, Bobby Paul. He's the only Florida man I've met that was featured in the headlines twice.
Where are you from, and how long have you lived here?
Well, I'm originally from Connecticut, and I lived in Miami for like 55 years because my parents moved down there from Connecticut, and because I was always sick in the hospital and stuff, so they moved down to Miami. 55 years there, never got sick anymore, except for a couple lungs that blew out on me. But that was from the chemicals where I used to work. You know, toluene fumes, burning holes in my lungs, and been over here in Penniless Park for.
Did you say Penniless?
Yeah, Penniless.
Penniless Park, and that's Pinellas Park.
Pinellas.
Referred to.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been in Florida total?
A total of about 60. Well, I'm 73 now, so I was down here when I was like third grade, be about 8 years old, I guess, something like that.
And how long have you been here in Pinellas Park?
Well, Pinellas Park, 3 years. I was over in Riverview in Tampa for about 4 years.
Let me ask you this. Some people love the Florida Man, but then some people hate the Florida Man. Why do you think that is?
Because I think they're jealous. You know, they're not getting any recognition. They have their little ho-hum life, you know, and the Florida Man, he's doing things that that people can't do. You know what I mean? And it's jealousy or envy. I don't know. They're pretty close to the same. So I think that's the main reason, is they don't have balls enough to do it themselves, whatever it is.
But the Florida Man has balls to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, big balls.
Florida Man's got big balls.
Big balls.
He'll do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Because that's what it seems like. It seems like the Florida Man, there's nothing he won't do. There's no bizarre story you won't see. It almost seems like it almost seems fake because of some of these stories. They're so asinine, you can't believe that they're true.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like down in Miami, some guy was eating somebody's face off because he was on spinach or whatever drug it was.
Yeah, Florida Man eats flakka and eats somebody's face or something.
Yeah, you know, it's like, give me a break, you know, and screwing cows and shit like that, you know.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but sheep are better than cows, you know.
Do you think Florida men live any other places other than Florida?
Well, sure. I think sometimes they're like snowbirds. They come down here and then they do all the weird shit, and then the Florida Man gets blamed for everything. So it's probably some.
So it's not always a Florida native that goes through this stuff. Sometimes it's the vacationers and the snowbirds, you're saying, that
right,
that become Florida Man.
And transplants. Like I was transplanted from Connecticut to Florida, and so I was like a Yankee, but with so many years of being a Floridian, now I'm a rebel.
And now it turns you into a Florida Man. So how long do you think you have to live in Florida before you can become a Florida Man?
I don't think there's a time limit. You know, I mean, you can be an instant Florida Man. You know, like some guy eating faces and, you know, like I'm sure he didn't really plan on it. It might have been an outside influence or whatever. But then again, maybe he likes to get faced instead of head.
So you're saying there's closet Florida men everywhere you go. They're
Sure.
hiding. They just haven't shown themselves yet.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, because, you know, well, like this accusation of kiddie porn, you know, they think I'm the pervert, but I don't even have any pictures of kids. I have pictures of my granddaughters that are in a photo book that I don't even know, it's in storage somewhere, you know. But I got blamed for it just because of my kitty cat. And her name is Wicca. So they say, oh, you're in the witchcraft and all this shit. I said, no, my cat is in the witchcraft and kitty porn. I'm not, you know, it's her. She does everything. She's framing me. You know, she gets a little bit of catnip, and then she gets freaky. You know, I came home one time, and there's two other cats sitting on the couch, and they're sitting here, and they had the Animal Channel on. I don't even know how they got in here, and I went to change it, and there's kitty porn, you know, the little kids. I said, what? So I cut her off of her catnip for like 2 weeks because she did that shit. So the cops are like banging on the door. And hey, we've got evidence of you watching kitty porn. I'm going, and I said, I don't never pull up kitty porn. My cat messes with the keyboard all the time. And I told him, I said, my cat, I come in, my cat's pushing little things on the keyboard, and there's kitty porn on there. And I think my cat was looking for kitty porn instead of kitty porn, and they came up with the two D's instead of 2 T's, and I get blamed for it. Stupid ass cat. I'm not into kids, I'm not into kids. I'm into animals. Animals are cool, but not kids, Nah. Now the government can, they can listen through your cell phone, through your TV, and who knows what, the little drones flying around checking on you and all that, it's going to make you paranoid, and then you start going, well, I can't do anything, You say hi to a little kid. That's why I don't do clown work anymore, because the parents are going like, oh, little kid, you were talking to him too long, or your balloon looked like a penis or some shit when you twisted it up, and like, fuck. No more. I take my real cat, and sometimes we sit here and watch TV together because she likes to watch the Animal Channel. It has all the animals on it. Then they start saying, oh, so you're into animals. I said, no, my cat is into animals. I'm into people, and not kids. They have to be 18 or over. I check their ID. Really. It's like...
So you're saying to me that the child pornography found on your computer was accidentally pulled up by your cat?
Yeah. Because I come in a lot of times. The cat sitting over there on my keyboard on my computer and pushing keys. And I don't know if she's smart enough to put up kitty porn, because she doesn't, she has nothing to do with people except me, and I don't have anything to do with kids except my grandchildren, and I don't touch them, and like, so all the cops are all freaking out, oh, well, and of course they're going to put that on the friggin' news, and everybody's going to think I'm a pedophile or some shit. Fuck them, man. They arrest you anyway until you can actually prove to them. They checked my police record, it's totally clean except for public intoxication. And now I don't drink anymore. Well, yeah, I drink sometimes, but they don't have to know about it, And after it's in there one time, all she has to do is hit enter, and it comes up. I've erased it, I don't know. I've tried blocking it, I don't know how to. The cat has to, should arrest the cat, bring her to the friggin' Humane Society and put her in jail for a while, Yeah. But I just cut off her catnip. So it's been pretty good since they let me out, but I have to go in. I go in like, it's probation they put me on. So they set up a camera in my apartment and put it like a motion detector thing or something. Now I'm going, man, invasion of privacy, and my cat's privacy. I don't know how she learns how to spell, That's what freaked me out. So how does she know how to spell, In fact, I think kitty is 1 D instead of 2, but she's trying to get kitty, whatever, So I get accused of her perversions. Her and her friends sitting here sniffing catnip, thinking it's really cool, licking each other. I wish I could do that.
Your story is kind of interesting because you've actually been featured headlines twice now. You were featured for, where you had the headline about the child pornography, and then just 6 months prior to that arrest, you were arrested for DUI for driving a motorized wheelchair down the street, down down a main street. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's one of those scooters that I got. I have it downstairs. I take the elevator, get on it, and I scoot because, I didn't think that was like driving under the influence. If I'm on a scooter, it isn't a car, and I don't need a license for it. And I do have a driver's license, but I'm driving. I'm going down there on my scooter, and here's a cop car. All the friggin' lights, and I'm going, what in the hell? So I pull over to the side, and he gets out. I just sat in my chair, I'm no use getting up. And he says, you're not supposed to be on the street with this. I said, well, I don't know. I go like that. I don't know what the hell's the problem. And he says, you've been drinking? I said, well, yeah, I've been drinking. He said, well, you're not supposed to be driving when you're drinking to start with. You're out in public. I said, but it's not a vehicle. It's my scooter. He said, well, the scooter's a vehicle, blah, blah, blah. So they towed my scooter and put me in jail for public intoxication. And I go, what? Here I was trying to be a good citizen. I mean, I didn't run into anybody with my scooter. I mean, it has a horn on it. And I got it souped up a little bit so I can get it up to like 40, 45. But that's beside the point, I wasn't breaking the speed limit. Well, he said I was in a school zone too, and I'm going, damn, the kids are on their bicycles going faster than me, I mean, I don't crank it up to 40, 45 all the time. So they arrest me. I'm in jail. Everybody's saying, so old man, what'd you get busted for? And I go,
So this scooter, though, is it more like a wheelchair, or is it like so is it a street legal scooter?
No. It's one of the three-wheel ones. They have the wheels and the
with the basket on the front.
Yeah, there's a basket on the front.
Okay, so it is kind of like it is meant for.
It's electric motorized.
But it is meant for transportation of just a person.
Yeah.
A wheelchaired person, more or less.
Right.
It's not.
The cops, I mean, I guess they don't pull very many people over that are on these scooters, but they said, oh yeah, you had a motorized wheelchair. I said, no, man, it was my scooter. Don't disrespect my scooter, So I don't know. Anyway, they have me pegged as a public nuisance now. Oh, and I got it. Resisting arrest too. Guy told me, I said, don't tow my scooter. I've only. Where are they going to tow it to? They're going to bring it to the towing company's going to take it there, and I have to pay like $200 to get it out. I mean, it's like ridiculous. They're going to have a bunch of old people protesting if they keep on doing that stuff,
Do you have a license anymore? Are you able to drive?
Yeah, I have a driver's license, but
Okay.
like I said, I figured, well, I was drinking, I was feeling pretty good, and the car is right out there in the parking lot, but I have my scooter parked downstairs, so I took the elevator, I get on my scooter, and I go to the store and stuff, and I can even cruise up to the movies. But they want you to be sort of like in the bike lane or on the sidewalk or something like that, And so I was in with the main traffic, and some of the people are honking their horns and shit, and I'm going, go around me, man, Hey, you old fart, and all that. And so I shot him a bird and made like I was going to shoot him. But what damage can I do with my finger and my thumb? I mean? So they complained. They got on their little cell phones and called the cops and 911 them. There's an old guy driving down the street, and I had my cat with me, So I took my cat to the friggin' Humane Society, put her in jail, and I'm going, what the hell, So my cat's in jail, I'm in jail, and, So she doesn't have a regular fix of catnip. You know, the people in the cell with me, they're saying, driving under the influence in your scooter? I said, yeah. So they're saying, well, so they start yelling, oh, pigs, 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 and the guards coming by, and I'm going, it's no big deal, man. You know, I got a lawyer. I called them. They're going to bond me out, and I have to go pick up my cat. It's a weird, weird world. You know, you can't ride your scooter. Can't, you know. And I didn't have a helmet. I don't think you have to have a helmet. And of course, my cat didn't have a helmet. And she's sitting on my lap, and because she'll stay on my lap so I could steer her.
Do you still drive the scooter now, even after being arrested?
Yeah. And I have a little stick with the American flag on there, and don't tread on me, and POW thing, and you know, like 3 small flags, and the cops see that, and I give them the old hippie peace sign because I was in the hippie zone, I like that, and so now I drive legally on the sidewalk or you know in the bike lane or something like that, just so I don't have to go to jail again. It's embarrassing to be in there and. You know, this guy, well, I stabbed somebody, and I'm going, they put me in the same cell with somebody that stabbed somebody that actually died, and another guy that pissed on a barmaid, you know, and I'm going, you know, like another guy, Grand Theft Auto, and it wasn't the video game. You know, he's like, what the hell, man? You know, they put me in with all these murderers and rapists and everything else.
And they kind of made you look bad in the headline by saying your motorized wheelchair because it is kind of a scooter.
Yeah, they embarrassed me.
It's not technically a wheelchair.
Exactly.
So they kind of made you look a little worse than it was.
Yeah, because the wheelchair
is a wheelchair. You think of a wheelchair.
Yeah, you think of the 2 wheels that you push like that.
Right.
And they have motorized ones, but
right. They're
not as cool as mine. You know.
Do you still drive the scooter intoxicated?
Well, sure. You know, it was mostly because I was driving in the main traffic. Well, my little basket I have in the front, I sort of had a bottle of like Jack Daniels, you know. And, you know, of course, some chips and some pretzels and, you know, and some catnip, you know. And now the guy said, he looks at the catnip, he says, what's this? I said, it's catnip. He said, well, it sure looks like marijuana to me. I go, man, you know, you fucking pigs. Because what? I said, no. They took my cat's catnip to test it to see if it was pot. And then he smelled the alcohol in my breath, and so I got busted for that. So now I make sure that I eat mints before I go out on my scooter now. I don't have to worry so much if they pull me over. Well, now they don't have many reasons, you know, except I shouldn't have that flag that says, screw you, pigs. But, you know, I took that off because I didn't want to aggravate them any, you know, it's like, whatever.
Do you think you'll ever change your ways, or do you think you'll always be Florida man?
I'll always be Florida man. You know, some people are proud to be a Florida man. Some people are offended by it. And I have no problem with it. And, you know, I see cops outside in the parking lot, like waiting for me to leave sometimes to see if I go to my car or if I'm on my scooter. And I go out on my scooter and all of a sudden, you know, they pull out of the parking lot and they're following me. I'm going, what? You know, I mean, because I beat the rap that they wanted to give me, you know, for public intoxication. Well, the judge says, you know, stay off your scooter when you're drinking. You know, I mean, they let me go with the probation. So I have to go and piss in a bottle. And for alcohol, you know. So I start smoking catnip with my cat, man, you know. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have had joints made out of catnip on my basket either, so, but whatever. My cat was traumatized. I was going to try and sue him for traumatizing my cat, let alone me. And Kitty, of course, you know, if you put different things in a computer, weird stuff comes up. You know, like if you want to go to diving or something like that, all of a sudden you got muff divers that come up. You know, you got MILFs and everything else, and it's like, and the cat's like, because the cat did that a couple times when I was home. And I come in, the TV's on, and I go, what the hell are you watching? You know, sometimes it's a Western, in this incident it was kiddie porn, and, you know, it's like, I'm not into kids, but they won't put that in the headlines. So as soon as I get to where I'm not found guilty, and I beat the case, I'll be in the back of the newspaper. No one's going to see it. I mean, nobody looks at the back of the paper unless they're looking at classifieds or ads or something like that. And here's a little thing, found innocent. Meanwhile, your neighbors are like saying, oh, he's watching kiddie porn. Oh, he drives his scooter drunk. And, you know, it's like...
Do you own any weapons?
I have like .357 Magnum, you know. But I don't... I carry that in my case. I have a concealed weapon permit.
In your own words, what does the Florida man mean to you?
The Florida man, I think, has more freedom than a regular citizen.
Do you think Florida men are just flat out crazy?
Crazy? You calling me crazy?
Not at all.
Oh, well,
not at all. And I don't want to offend you. I just think that, you know, the mainstream headline around the world is that the Florida man is crazy, and that, you know, you come to Florida, you give a run-in with a Florida man, you know, it's going to be crazy. So I think it's just kind of the outside, the outsiders looking in. They look at, you know, the Floridian as a, you know, as being crazy.
Florida basically has got a bad rap, period. And then they're always picking things up, you know, like between the dog fights and everything else, and oh, he was a Florida man, he set up this dog fighting ring or whatever. Well, he was just a dog fight promoter, had nothing to do with being crazy, but then they would say, oh, he was crazy because, you know, he actually had a ring with ducks in it too. And you go, what? You know, so they're having cockfights, duck fights, dog fights.
I mean, you can see how
shit,
somebody
you know.
would think that's crazy.
Well, yeah, but, you know, what is crazy? It's only the way you look at things.
It's all in the way you look at things. At the end of the day, I never really found the answers to what I was looking for. But I did learn a few things. And the most important thing is, Florida man's real. He's definitely out there. You never know who he is or what he might do next. But I can tell you this, if you ever come to Florida, chances are you too will eventually cross paths with Florida Man.
All you have to do is type Florida Man into Google, followed by your birthday.
Go to Google and search the term Florida Man, followed by your birthday.
People are now posting the results all over the internet.
You type the words Florida Man, you know, a lot of weird stuff happens.
There are some really bizarre headlines.
Now it's your turn to take the Florida Man Challenge.
I'm Florida Man.
I'm Florida Man.
I'm the motherfucking Florida Man.
I'm Florida Man. I'm the motherfucking Florida Man.